This is a video that I didn't want to have to make, but it's going to be kind of long, but stick with me because this is an important history comparison that I'm going to make. I even got my notes here. But we're going to talk about the original 7 virtues of Bushido, developed during Japan's Kamakura shogunate, emphasizing values like honesty, courage, compassion, respect, loyalty, and self-control. These principles were shaped by the idea that samurais were moral and disciplined warriors. However, by 1920s, 1930s, Bushido had been stripped of its moral core and rebranded by Japan's control faction, led by Hideki Tojo, as part of a nationalism and militarism. Soldiers were no longer taught the full philosophy, only a twisted version that emphasized absolute loyalty to the emperor and blind obedience to the state. Why was this done? The control faction saw China as Japan's main obstacle to power in Asia and viewed the Chinese people as racially inferior. By reshaping Bushido, the Japanese military created a belief system where dying for the emperor was honorable, and any dissent or compassion was seen as weakness or betrayal of the state. This ideology justified aggressive expansion to places like Manchuria and Nanking, and it helped fuel atrocities like the rape of Nanking and those committed by Unit 731, a secret biological warfare unit led by General Shiro Itsu. Now, Shiro Itsu referred to Chinese civilians as maruta, or wooden logs. They were used as live test subjects for horrific experiments. The victims, men, women, and children. They were frozen to death. That's how we learned a lot about frostbite, from this actual experiments committed. They were vivisected. That's where you're dissected alive and conscious to observe the effects of the diseases that they had been injected with and the chemical weapons they had been used on them. They were tied to stakes and bombed just to record blast patterns and damage. These acts were not only allowed, but they were encouraged under this warped sense of duty and superiority installed by this new version of Bushido. Now, where do we see the comparison to modern day? A similar distortion can be seen in today's alpha male concept. Historically, the idea of an alpha male reflects noble leadership. Like the Knights of King Arthur and the Round Table is where we first start to see this kind of concept come around. Men who protected others, acted with honor, led through wisdom and empathy. But now this term often is used to praise aggression, dominance, and emotional control. Today's alpha male is someone portrayed as control over their family and people around them. Someone who can win through force and intimidation, suppression of emotions and moral sensitivity, and someone who has a lot. This modern version is not about strength of character, but about control through fear and insecurities. Just like the corrupt Bushido, it shifts away from values like compassion and integrity and places power, image, and obedience above them. Both historic and modern examples show how values can be twisted in terms of control, stripping away humanity in favor of dominance. Control is what they are using here. You will never be what the perfect alpha male, because someone is always using that concept to control you. Just like in Japan, Bushido was used to control their military and their whole civilian population. But that's the comparison I want to make today.